Hey everyone, welcome back to Chills and Thrills. Connor here along with Chris. And today, for a very special extra episode, we are doing a Godzilla tier ranking list for our November 3rd or Godzilla Day. And we're
Also,
excited to do this.
also episode 100 of the podcast.
Absolutely. We're keeping it rolling. It's exciting that, we've hit episode 100. And we have our tier rankings for our Godzilla franchise listed as our top tier is King of the Monsters, for the best of the best. We have Let Them Fight for still very good, but have some criticisms. A Happy Moment is kind of like our mixed bag of the franchise. Oh Godzilla, What Terrible Language is kind of like things that we still have fun with, but they clearly have some problems with them. And then Godzilla Said I Should Learn to Fight My Own Battles is kind of like our bottom tier, or kind of our least favorites of the franchise, or films we don't go back to as often. So this should be a fun conversation. I know Chris and I have been talking about doing this for a little while. So this should be fun.
Yeah, and for anyone a little confused, it's pretty much A, B, C, D, F right there.
Absolutely. We were gonna do 6, but we stuck with 5 tiers. We have 38 films to go through. So Chris, if we wanna start knocking these down one by one.
Alrighty, we can do this. We can get going whenever you're ready. I'm ready for it.
All right, so the original 1954 Godzilla, I don't think any Godzilla fan is gonna argue with me.
It's a King
That
of the
it,
Monsters.
yeah, that one belongs in King of the Monsters, and I mean, I don't think we'll get anything other than that for that film.
Alrighty.
So I mean, as we continue on, we'll go to Godzilla Raids Again. So that one.
Where are you feeling on that one?
What's crazy is like the more I watch it, I think the more I almost enjoy it. But I would almost think to put it in Oh Godzilla, What Terrible Language.
See, I'm pulling for A Happy Moment. I think it's a little underrated. I think it's overlooked because of so many of the ones that followed it. But when you watch it in a nutshell, it's like humans versus Godzilla with conventional weapons, the first Godzilla versus another monster, the way they trap him at the end. I think it's so kind of overrated. It's a little underrated. So I'm pulling for Happy Moment.
Okay, and we didn't say this earlier, but we're gonna kind of meet in the middle. We're gonna compromise with each other here. Chris and I we're gonna have a happy medium to where there's some films that I think are great and he thinks are great, or that
And
I think.
ultimately, you're controlling the sliding. So ultimately, it's going to be your veto power.
I know, but we're gonna meet in the middle on this. If I think it's a D and you say B, we're gonna meet in the middle at a C. So I mean,
All right.
I will give you that. Godzilla Raids Again is a little underrated, so I'll give you one early, and we'll say a happy moment for Godzilla Raids Again.
All right. Not a very high happy moment, and maybe as some of these other ones shake out, maybe we'll come back and say like, hey, that one's a little high, but we'll take it one step at a time.
So we'll continue on with King Kong versus Godzilla. So what do you think on this one?
I'm thinking that's a let them fight.
And that's exactly what we want these two monsters to do. We want to let them fight. I have fun with that one. I mean, most people would say that this is a top 10 Godzilla film, roughly. In that area. So I'll agree with you in let them fight.
Alrighty.
So with 1964's Godzilla versus or Mothra versus Godzilla, or Godzilla versus the Thing. This is one of my favorite Godzilla movies of all time.
I think it's a King of the Monsters.
Absolutely agree. I'm glad you said it first. I'm really glad that we agree on that one.
Yep.
Here's the one that's going to spark some controversy between us.
Yeah, I know your opinion's low, so give it to me straight. What your low opinion is of it?
When I rank the 38 movies from like 38 to 1, it's gonna be a lot lower than what I say here. I would say it's Oh Godzilla, What Terrible Language, just because it's not because of the monster fights or anything. I enjoy the monster fights, but let me hear your opinion on it. I'm thinking this is a
dude.
let them fight for you.
Dude, yeah, I mean, at least, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's very much a let them fight for me, and it would, and it stings because the compromise there is a happy moment, but like it's way better than Godzilla raids again. You know, like so. So I don't know. I mean, it's like I don't want to be like, oh, it's a King of the Monsters, so that we compromise on let them fight, which is where I think it should be. Like I don't know. I really think it's like I really think it's better than Oh Godzilla with terrible language. So do we have to settle for happy moment?
Well, if I'm thinking if I'm nice to you on one, maybe you'll be nice to me on another. I don't.
Alrighty, okay.
So
So
if
let's
I don't think it's as good as King Kong versus Godzilla. So I could be okay putting
see.
that.
I think it's kind of every bit as good as that one, if not better in some ways. But that's just me.
I I'll compromise and put it behind King
Okay,
Kong versus
yeah, that's
Godzilla
fine. I can live with that. You don't got to
and
put it
let
in
them
front of it.
fight.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, alrighty.
So now here's my pick for the better of the two Ghidorah films with
hmm
Invasion of Astro
hmm
Monster. I would feel good putting that in Let Them Fight.
Okay, yeah, and you know what? I'll concede that too because I'm more of a like that's more of a like happy moment for me. I can concede for let them fight for that one.
And I'll even throw
I'll,
it
I'll,
behind
oh,
Ghidorah.
okay. Hey, doing me some favor. That's fine. That's fine. I think Ghidorah is better. Yeah.
So when it comes to our next film, which is Ebera Horror of the
Ever,
Deep, what are you feeling?
I'm thinking Godzilla with terrible language.
Okay, because it it takes an hour for us in that film to get our to get Godzilla live and in action. So I mean, I can agree with that. We get Godzilla and Godzilla raids again very quickly and pretty often. So I can be okay putting that in Godzilla. What terrible language.
Yeah, and I mean, it's maybe a discussion worth having, but like I do think for me, like I think Godzilla Raids Again is a better movie than Ebra. And Ebra, you got the discount twin fairies, singing the discount version of the song. The Godzilla suit's a little odd. It's a very long time before you get to Godzilla. Like it's very obviously like a King Kong script with Godzilla dropped into it. It's just like an oddball kind of like an off brand kind of entry. So I mean, yeah, like Godzilla Raids Again is at least like a straightforward Godzilla movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, in our next one, we get to another island adventure. I have a soft spot for this one for with Son of Godzilla.
Yeah.
So
Here, what are you feeling on that one?
I, I think this one's tough for me because I do like the storyline and all the
I
monster
don't think it should
fights.
be for me. I don't think it should be lower than a happy moment.
And that's what I was thinking is put it in a
Yeah.
happy moment. I was
And I
just
think
thinking, do
and
we put it
I think
above
ahead
Raids
of Raids
Again?
Again. I think ahead of Raids Again. Yeah, I do. Raids Again is not amazing, but I think ahead of Raids Again, yeah.
I can agree with that. I was thinking a happy moment and above Raids Again. So I'm
Yep,
glad
yep,
we're
yep.
doing all
We
right so far
we
here on
we can agree
agreement.
on that. We can agree on that. Yeah.
So this one we might get a little different on as well. Destroy all monsters.
Uh to me that's a solid that's at least that's a solid let them fight. I don't know if you're thinking King of the Monsters. I don't know if I'm thinking quite that high, but I think that's a solid let them fight.
No, I was thinking a happy moment. I'm low on Destroy All
Really?
Monsters.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh man.
I was gonna put it right behind Son of Godzilla. I
I
don't know
feel
what I
oof. I feel bad about it being on a lower tier than Astro Monster because I think it's that same movie but with a lot better monster stuff going on.
oh I totally love Astro Monster more.
I'll let you put it below Astro Monster if I could get it into let them fight.
All right, I'll
It's
do
your
it. I'll
decision.
do it. I'll do
It's
it.
I feel like I'm strong arming a lot of these, but if you, I mean, you've got the power. You can kind of, you mean it's up to you. I don't let me
No,
just bully you.
no, there's some of these later on that I need you to compromise with me big time.
Okay, fair enough. So
So
we're playing, we're hedging our bets here, playing our battles, and we can kind of do like a last look at the end to kind of see if we're feeling right where everything's at. You know, we can kind of make some tweaks if we think it's something shook out a little weird.
yeah, I'm not feeling against any of these too much so
Yeah, I
far.
feel pretty good
Besides
about
maybe
this.
Ghidorah ahead of Astro Monster. That's the only one.
Yeah, I mean that can be an argument we can have. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could put it ahead. That's fine. You know, that's okay.
I'll do it in the editing so that
Okay.
when you watch it, you're like, oh, that what a dick. No.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. You're good. You're good.
So I Godzilla's Revenge or All Monsters Attack, I think that goes to the bottom. Godzilla said I should
Yes.
learn to fight my own
I
battle.
mean, that's where it's named after. So yeah, I don't think that's a disagreement at all. It's down there.
All
The
right.
saving grace is that it's at least only like 69 minutes long, so it's like very short and just easy to get through in terms of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cheesy film, but I just can't. That's
And
probably
it's
the
got
Godzilla film I go back to the least.
and it's got some stock footage from some better movies in it. So there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one I also the next couple I have a soft spot for. The next one, Godzilla versus Smog Monster, or another title, Godzilla versus Hedra. Uh,
Uh I I don't know how soft your soft spot is for it.
Maybe in a happy moment ahead of Son of Godzilla.
I could get in with that. I could get in with that. That's a respectable. Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. That works.
So we'll
Yeah,
throw that
you
bad
know, I'm not
boy.
the hugest fan of Minya as a concept, even though I dig Son of Godzilla. I think, I mean, six and one, half dozen the other, but like in a happy moment is where I think the tier is right. I'm not gonna split hairs over exactly where in the tiers.
Well, it helps. We get a lot of Godzilla and Hedorah in
Yeah,
that film, so we get a lot of
yeah.
action in that one.
And it's really, you know, it's got a really unique style, and Bono was going for some bold kind of stuff, and it's like at least you can't say that it's like generic and boring. It's definitely got like a hot take to it, you know, and like it's not to everyone's liking, but it stands out, you know, and it's a unique and compelling entry, you know.
100%. So Godzilla versus Gigan is our next one. What are you thinking on this one?
Uh, I'm pretty soft on. I'm pretty positive on this one. I would say maybe the either the lower tier of Let Them Fight or the top of Happy Moment for me, at least.
This was one of my favorites as a kid, and it still
Yes.
is today. So I'm glad you said that because where are you thinking for so top of Happy Moment
If
or
you say Let
where
Them Fight, if you say Let Them Fight, I'm cool with that. If that's how you're feeling on it,
so right behind Destroy All Monsters and Let Them Fight.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, you know.
I would probably put it above, but I can handle right behind.
Slide it above. Slide it
Right
above.
above
I
Destroy.
mean, because here's a weird thing. Because it's like I like Destroy All Monsters more than Astro Monster, but then I like Gigan more than Astro Monster as well. But maybe to see, I think I would rate them like Destroy All Monsters is better than Gigan is better than Astro Monster. So it's a weird thing where it's like you've got Astro Monster as the best. So it's like you know, that's okay. Like I said, I'm not going to split hairs over exactly where in the tiers they're at, but I can live with Gigan being put above Destroy All Monsters. Even though I
Okay.
think Destroy All Monsters and Gigan are both better than Astro Monster, I can live with that.
So we get Gigan back for a second straight appearance in Godzilla versus Megalon. So this again, Godzilla versus Gigan and Megalon were a great like double feature when I was a kid,
Yes,
and
yes.
two of my favorites of the franchise. So I think Megalon for me would go at the top, the very top of a happy moment
Oh,
for now.
really? Oh, ooh. I wanted to put Megalon in Godzilla. What terrible language.
So I mean, do you like it more or like rate it higher than Raids again? Then, if you are you
For me, well, because here's the thing: I can enjoy the kind of cheesy movies, but it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, it's a more like it might be a more fun movie to watch than Raids Again, but it's like it's not like Raids Again is still like taking itself seriously as a movie, you know? Like And I don't know. And I mean, maybe that's the argument. Like, is the more dull, less exciting movie, but takes itself seriously better than like the goofy movie where the robot just wills itself into changing sizes and it's like all kind of nonsense, but it's like fun to watch. You know, I don't know. It's tough. I'll let you get a happy moment if you want, and I'm not going to fight too hard. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I know that you got some
It's
coming
not
up that
better
you're
than
gonna fight for it. So
it's not better than Son of Godzilla. It's not better than Son of Godzilla. You can put it above Raids Again if you want,
okay, I
and I'll let you get the happy moment because I
what?
would have put it in Godzilla. What terrible language! I mean, I think that movie for all the fun, I think it's even worse than Ebra, but that's just me.
Oh man, I have never heard you say
Yeah,
that before. That's a
no, I
shocking
mean it's
statement.
fun, but I mean I don't know. I mean it's got those weird just things about it that are just hard to it's really in that like cheap hokey kind of realm, and it's like Ebra is like at least like a normal movie, I don't know. We'll move on. We could split hairs all day long about this.
Well, here's one that I know Chris is gonna he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
vouch for in the
Mm-hmm.
1974 Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. So what are you thinking
Yeah.
here?
I mean, I would love to have it in the King of the Monsters, but I feel like I'm gonna have to settle for Let Them Fight.
And I was thinking let them fight.
Okay, we can. That's okay. We can do that then.
So where
I think high end of Let Them Fight, honestly, dude. Like, I think
so
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla fucking rules. I'm sorry.
so are we thinking above King Kong versus Godzilla or
Personally, I think I would put it there. Yes.
I can do that for you. I mean
Okay.
King
All
Kong
right.
and Godzilla are my
Okay.
two favorites, but like getting
In
Godzilla and
terms, yeah,
Mechagodzilla.
yeah. In terms of prestige, yeah, King Kong versus Godzilla is like the more meaningful thing. But like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla is such a banger. You can show that to like such a normie entry level fan, and like it's like a hell of a good time. Like, I love that movie.
When you get like the great beatdown of Anguirus coming back, you get King Caesar coming back. Like
King
there are quite a bit of monsters in that
King
film.
Caesar gets his own entrance music. Godzilla gets all bloodied. Like, Mecha Godzilla's entrance music is a bop that you can dance to.
I'm okay with putting it at top of Let Them Fight because I mean, there are some great battle scenes in that. So I mean, Let Them Fight kind of is perfect for that film.
Alrighty then. Alrighty then.
So the sequel to that, Terror of Mechagodzilla. What are
Um.
that one's tough for me because like I just when we went to G Fest recently, it was earlier this year, like they played Godzilla versus Destroya, and then they played Terror of Mechagodzilla, so it was like one of like the greatest
Oh.
Godzilla films ever. And then like it
Yeah.
had
Why
me
would you
like
not? Why would you not just double feature the Mecha Godzilla movies?
well it had me thinking like after that, after watching both of them, like dang, do I really like Terror of Mechagodzilla that much? That film was
Yeah.
kind of slow and
Yeah.
like
It's
it
a
made me
better.
rethink my ranking.
It's a little bit like the Astro Monster and Destroy All Monsters dynamic, where Astro Monsters got the better human storyline, but it's a little lacking on the monster action. I think Terror of Mechagodzilla has better human drama and a human storyline than Mechagodzilla, but the overall Mechagodzilla is the Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla is just a much better, like a lot more entertaining, a lot more cool and fun, and just well paced and put together than Terror of Mechagodzilla, if that makes sense.
Well, like I think in our ranking when we ranked all 38 films, I had Terror of Mechagodzilla a couple higher than the original Mechagodzilla, and I think I'm
I'm not sure
changing
if I had it. I'm not sure if I had it higher or not. I really love the Katsura storyline and the tragic ending of it. Like, that's really big for me, but I don't know if it outweighs all the other things that I think Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla does better.
So are we thinking like a low let them fight, maybe like a high happy
Yeah, I,
moment?
I think low let them fight. It would feel weird putting it on the tier with those other ones. I think it's better than that.
Where low let them fight. Stop me when you think. I'm
Uh, I mean, well, our bottom three of Let Them Fight, I have, I think Astro Monster is 2 spots too high. So it's like, it's this weird debate where but I mean, uh, I would
So
argue
if we
for
do
it.
this, put Gigan here, destroy
Okay.
all monsters here.
Okay. Okay.
Well, we'll start
Uh,
working.
okay. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that. We could do that.
Astro Monster and then Terror of Mechagodzilla.
I'm not. Before the end of this, Astro Monster is going to be down in the whole next. No, 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 no. I'm not trying to manipulate the board too much here, but
Well, they're all in Let
yeah,
Them Fight, which means we
I can agree with that. I can agree with this batch right here.
yeah
That's I can settle for that.
yeah we appreciate all these pretty much
Yeah,
the same, enjoy them the same. So I
yeah.
mean,
It's gradients of differences.
exactly, it's personal view.
Yeah.
So after pretty much a 10-year absence, we get the return of Godzilla in 1984. So I I was not very high on this as a kid, and I as I've gotten older, I've learned to appreciate it a little more.
Hmm.
But I'm still one of those to where it's like a high happy moment or like a low let them fight. And
That's exactly where I'm at with it. To be frank, I think it's the prestige. Like it's one of those things where it's like the prestige and its place in the series is kind of a little higher than like the when you sit down and watch the film itself. Like I don't even think it uses the classic Godzilla music. Like and it just kind of like it's not an extremely well paced movie. So like I think it has a lot of like air around it because for a long time you could only see it as Godzilla 1985 here in the US. And then for a long time, it was one that was like very late to finally get an official DVD or Blu ray release over here. So I think it almost had mystique around it from some fans. And so I think it kind of gets a little overinflated compared to what it actually is when you sit down and watch it. So I feel that it's like right exactly where you're saying, like high happy moment, low let them fight.
so maybe right above Hedra in a happy moment, kind of middle of the pack.
I think so. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
Because I know we're gonna agree on the next one. So
And it's yeah. I mean, yeah. This is yeah.
so we'll throw the return of Godzilla right there. And then we have Godzilla versus Biolante, which is absolutely a King of the Monsters
Yes, it's
film.
King of the Monsters. I was about to say like it's been way too long since we've had a King of the Monsters up there.
And I think that goes above Mothra in King of the
Yes,
Monsters.
I honestly do. I honestly do. It's a weird thing to say that like in the timeline, like is that the best one since the original? But like when I'm thinking about it, man, like I love Biolante. I love
And
it.
I'm 100% with you. I mean, from the
Yeah,
characters to Biollante
yeah.
as a monster, I mean, I'm
What's the meme? In this house, we respect Biolante. In this
I
house, we.
I am hoping that we get a return of Biollante here soon,
Oh,
maybe in a
dude,
-1 sequel with the G
dude,
Stars kind of
I
piece.
remember when the fake plot leak for Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire came out before anyone knew anything about it, before it even got its title. Someone was like, "Oh yeah, they're in the Hollow Earth, and there's like a Biolante down there," and then it morphs and evolves into like a space Godzilla type monster. I was like, "That would be the coolest thing ever," and then that's not what we got.
I would have loved it.
I
That
know
probably would have brought that movie way up for
that would
me.
have been freaking great, but that's okay. It's okay. All right, I know you're dreading it.
I am, because here comes our time travel. Chris hates it, and
Yeah, if
Godzilla
and
versus
I'll
King Ghidorah from
yeah
1991.
uh, yeah
This is a high let them fight for me.
yeah. See, and I'll be brutally honest. That's a. I would literally put that in a Godzilla with terrible language. I would
Oh
literally so
man,
yeah. So you want to put it into happy moment as a compromise? I'm okay with that.
uh,
Like I love the Akira Ifukube score. I love the effects work and the monster stuff. I love the World War II stuff. I freaking hate the time travel plot. And like for me, it's like I don't know if I just think of things in like a top down way, but if like your foundation of the movie is like this really dumb time travel thing, it's hard for me to really appreciate all the other things about your movie that it does right. So it's just tough.
so if this one didn't include time travel, it would probably be a high let them fight
It'd
for
be
it.
let them fight, dude. It would be let them fight. Yeah, if there was no time travel element, it'd be let them fight. Or if the time travel was done in a way that was like clearly defined and actually made sense and worked and whatever. But yeah, yeah.
So Can we compromise on this one and put it at the top of a happy moment?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I'm comfortable with that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, 100%.
I can put that there. And we'll move on to Godzilla versus Mothra, or Godzilla and Mothra: The Battle for Earth. What are
Okay,
you
where do you?
thinking on this one?
That's tough. I think a low let them fight. I think I don't know. I like that one a lot, or a high happy moment. You know.
It's hard for me to put a lot of these Heisei films above Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I'm putting you in a pickle there, aren't
Because
I?
besides Destroya, I think Godzilla versus King Ghidorah is my favorite of the
Uh,
Heiseis. So
oh, geez. Oh,
it's
wow. Even like above, like a Biollante.
I it's Destroya, and then like Biollante and King Ghidorah are like very high right next to
Gee,
each other,
really,
and
man. And I think the gap between them two in quality is like astronomical. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I mean, okay. So I mean, kind of, what are you thinking here then?
I was gonna say a high happy moment, but if you want, if you, I
Okay,
wouldn't.
we can do high happy moment. We can do high happy
Maybe
moment.
right above Ghidorah.
If you want, I can even put it right below. I can do that because Godzilla. I mean, I prefer it over Ghidorah, but it still has some issues of its own.
All right, so we'll throw that right in
And I
between.
know I'm in a minority opinion. I know a lot of people love Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. I can respect that. It's just that time travel plot ain't for me.
We have an hour and a half episode on it where Chris is talking about the time travel.
My TED talk,
Exactly.
and that's the material he didn't cut out.
So this is one that, if I remember right, I think you're high on, and it's the
I like, yeah, I
Godzilla
like
vs.
that.
Mechagodzilla
Yeah,
2, or the '93 version of Godzilla vs.
yeah.
Mechagodzilla.
Where are you feeling for that one?
I would think that's a low let them fight, or like a middle of the pack let
I
them fight.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
So maybe I really do enjoy King Kong versus Godzilla, so I'd be okay putting it like right behind that, or maybe right above Ghidorah, the three-headed
I
monster.
I think yeah, I can rock with that. Yeah, there's a lot of Godzilla screen time, a lot of great mech action, a lot of cool kaiju action. I can rock out with that. Yeah. Some people are gonna shred us for these. Like
Uh,
some people like rate like well, and I know that like there are some people that rate Astro Monster Ghidorah extremely high, and Return of Godzilla, extremely high. So I mean, whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
that's the thing, though. It's not your tier list or my personal tier list.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
compromise of both
compromise.
of
Yeah,
ours. So
exactly. Yeah, we got to kind of
we're working together to put them to where we would put
yeah,
them
yeah. The hybrid,
individually, but combining our lists.
the hybrid list.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
they
the
can't really be
committee
too mad at us.
the committee meeting. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so this is one, Godzilla versus Space Godzilla is one that I am not very high on. I seen this one at G Fest as well, and it seemed like some of the longest, like hour and 45 minutes of my life. Even though we get a lot of good Godzilla action, I think Space Godzilla has a great design, but it's just I feel like some of the I think we said this in our episode on this, is they crammed like 3 hours of stuff into an hour and 45-minute movie and just tried to throw it at us. So I would
Yeah,
honestly put it into, oh Godzilla, what terrible language.
yeah. I mean, yeah. My argument would kind of be for the happy moment tier, but I do understand a lot of the criticisms. I think the musical score is really weak. I think Little Godzilla has a cutesy design, but maybe a little too cute for this kind of movie. The pacing is quite sluggish. It's like when you're thinking about the movie, it's easier to argue about it on paper as being better than it is, but when you watch it, there's just a lot of stuff about it is just like off and just doesn't really land right. Whether it's the editing or the this or that or the other things, like it's just like a bit of an odd entry, and I think Godzilla with terrible language might be that. I think that's true. Better than Ebera though.
Yeah, and I mean, if I did give it a happy moment,
It'd be the bottom, I think.
you
Or
think
somewhere in the
behind
middle.
Raids again.
I mean, maybe in front of Raids, you know, and here's the thing, maybe Raids again really does belong in Godzilla with terrible language, you know, maybe that's more the appropriate spot for it, you know. So
Hmm. Because I could give you a happy moment, maybe right behind Megalon or right in front of Megalon. I don't think I would kind of give this better than Son of Godzilla. I think I have
no,
more fun
no,
with Son of
and
Godzilla.
I'll say move Raids again down to Godzilla with terrible language, above Ebra though.
All right, we'll do that.
And then if Space Godzilla is above Megalon, I can be at peace with that.
All right, so we're fixing as we go here. Fixing
Yeah,
as
yeah,
we go.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
All right, so the finale of the Heisei series, Godzilla versus Destroya. I think that is King
That's
of
a
the
king of the
Monsters
That's
tier,
king of the monsters. Yeah, it's king of the monsters.
and I think it's. I myself would put it either right behind or even right above the original. I love Godzilla versus Destroya.
Me too. Me too, man. Me too. Here's the thing. I don't have objections really to putting it above the original.
Other people, on
I
the
think
other
you
hand,
maybe don't have the objections. I think we'll be judged for it a little bit. But
you know
man,
what? This is our list.
yeah, dude. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, if you ask me on any given, like, man, Destroya is so good, dude. I know there are some people that like that. For some people, it has that reputation of so many people love it so much that they think it's then overrated. Like, I understand where that's coming from because a lot of people kind of glaze Destroya, but dude, I think it deserves it. I think it's Akira Ifukube's one of his best scores, maybe his best score in the franchise. Burning Godzilla is an awesome design, awesome concept. Destroyer looks straight up like Satan. Godzilla Jr. looks good. There's so much. There's the great ticking clock of Godzilla's meltdown. There's like the emotional moments with Godzilla and Little Godzilla and Mickey Sagusa. Like it's so like that movie is so on point, you know, and it's tying it back to the original with the Oxygen Destroyer. Like I think that movie is just like that movie's banging. I'm sorry. Like it is great.
You said everything that I was absolutely thinking,
You
so
know,
I it
and
was perfect.
I'll fully concede that, you know, because I think you're coming from the same spot very much, is that like it slid above the original Godzilla, and a lot of that is just because of the advantages as being made 40 years later. You know, I think that's part of it. It's not like, oh, the storyline or the characters or the depth or the meaning are richer, but it's like it's a 40-year newer movie with just a lot more awesome spectacle going on than the original Godzilla.
Absolutely,
And I
all of that.
certainly as a yeah, and I certainly as a kid felt a lot more dread about the impending Godzilla explosion than I did in 54 thinking about Godzilla attack.
Well, and then not just everything you mentioned, like you said, it's the connections that we get back to that 54
Mm-hmm.
film that like make it that much better because like a lot of these films like they don't give that connection to the oxygen destroyer and bring back certain characters in the film and like you said, like Burning Godzilla is one of my favorite like incarnations or Godzilla designs. Destroyer is one of my favorite monster designs and like the score like we've talked about is just it's a 15 out of 10, so I mean it's one of
Yeah.
my top five favorite Godzilla films of
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
time, so
We are, you know, this is our list, damn it. And I think it's fine there.
we are putting it at the top for now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if it stays there.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, next one is the kind of the Godzilla
the,
reboot or the first American attempt at Godzilla from 1998. So I
the infamous.
yeah, and I don't think this is one of the worst. It's on the lower side for me, but it's like a fun monster movie. I would put it in Oh Godzilla, What Terrible Language myself.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And because it's one of these things where like all monsters attack, like an advantage that it has is that it's very short and it's at least like kind of like a genuine Toho Godzilla movie. Godzilla 98, it's like it's this very long, it's the longest entry in the franchise still at like 2 hours and 20 minutes almost. So it's like this very long process, and it's very, with all the little Zilla Juniors and the characterization and design of Godzilla, it's just very much not a Godzilla movie. And so then, like, for my weird thing, it's like, well, like, you're comparing like a bad Godzilla movie to like a not Godzilla movie. But I mean, in All Monsters Attack, it's all in his imagination. So it's like you don't even have any actual monsters in that movie at all. So it's like, yeah, Godzilla '98. Yes, it's slower and harder to get through than All Monsters Attack, but like it's at least like a solid, American summer blockbuster monster movie on its own. And like it's got a good musical score, it's got good special effects and like visuals and everything for its time. So it's like, yeah, I think Godzilla with Terrible Language is good.
Where do we put it? Probably
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard for me to want to argue that belongs above real Godzilla movies.
I'm okay with that. So we'll put that
Yeah,
at the bottom of Godzilla with Terrible Language.
yeah, and it's a borderline Godzilla. I should learn to fight my own battles. If this were exclusively my list, I think I'd have it down there, but that's okay.
So this I know is both one of our favorites of the Millennium franchise. So in my opinion, I would put this to the very top of Let Them Fight.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree with that. I would almost, dude, I would, if we're talking about the American cut, I'm sorry. I'll say it one more time. I think the sound design changes, the small tweaks to the edit, the additions and enhancements to the musical score. I think all of those things make the American cut of Godzilla like way better than the Japanese cut. And dude, I'm almost tempted to put it bottom of King of the Monsters. And I think about it in that way that like Godzilla versus Biollante is one of those movies that you could kind of like, you couldn't just show like a normie Godzilla versus Megalon and expect them to kind of roll with it. Like it would seem very goofy and weird and kind of confirm all of the stereotypes of the franchise. But like a movie like Godzilla versus Biollante, and I think Godzilla 2000, and just like original Godzilla, Mothra, Destroya, I think you could show them to sort of normies with like as an entry level Godzilla movie, and I think it works and it makes them a fan. So I would even argue for King of the Monsters for that one, dude. I love Godzilla 2000.
All right, so I mean, I
Even
was
bottom of the
I'm
tier.
okay with that. I am
Okay.
100% okay with that because Godzilla 2000 is in my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies. So I mean, you're okay putting it behind Godzilla versus Mothra
Yeah.
or Mothra versus
Yes.
Godzilla.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
would even argue to put it above that one, but I'm
If
okay with
you're okay, hey, dude, if you want to put it above it, put it above it. I'm okay with that.
so
I'm
we'll
okay
go
with that.
right here
I know which
behind
one I'd
Biollante.
rather watch. Frankly, I know which one I'd rather watch, and to me, I always consider it's like a sibling to Godzilla versus Biollante in a lot of ways. Like those movies aren't connected with any kind of continuity, but they're very similar in that like they both get into like Godzilla's biology and like a creature that kind of uses Godzilla's biology to become a different form of itself, relatively grounded and not really too over the top with the technology. Biollante gets a little wild with the technology, but like not too insane. Like I think those are very like those movies are really kind of similar for me, and like they kind of like you know they're kind of like sibling movies, not like sequels or anything, but like I think they kind of pair well together. So yeah, I think they belong right next to each other.
And I'm 100% okay with that. So I will leave Godzilla 2000 in King of the Monsters right behind Godzilla versus Biollante. And here's one that I have trouble with as well. I also just seen this one this past
Mm-hmm.
year at G Fest, and that's Godzilla versus Mega Garrett. And
Mm-hmm.
now they bring back pretty much the exact same suit design from Godzilla 2000 and things like that. But I just can't get over the black hole concept, and I like Mega Gears, but it this film doesn't do it for me, and I would honestly put this
Mm-hmm.
one in Oh Godzilla, What Terrible Language.
Yes, we are in exact agreement. See, and you know how because how you feel about like the black hole and all that stuff in this one, that's how I feel about the time travel in King Ghidorah. So if you kind of like to communicate the feeling, but we're on the same page about this one. And the worst thing about it is that we'll get to it later, but like 2 years later, it was remade but better in every way, which only makes this one look worse. So yes, I think it's in Godzilla with Terrible Language.
So where do we want to put that in? I mean, it's still a good Godzilla design, a good monster battle, and things like that. But is it better than Raids Again? Is it better than Ebra Horror
Uh,
of the Deep?
and that can all kind of be argued. That black hole is so dumb. Like, it's like in tone, it's like this isn't a sillier movie than Ebra, but that black hole concept is dumber than anything in the almost dumber than anything in Ebra. It is dumber than anything in Ebra. I think it's hard to argue. It's like it just because it's more modern doesn't mean it's necessarily less goofy. Like a black hole cannon is literally one of the stupidest. I mean, I'm not trying to be too mean here. That's one of the stupidest ideas ever for any sci-fi movie. A black hole cannon that you're going to fire in the atmosphere, like within, like on the planet, like that's so dumb. And so I don't know, man. And again, everything else kind of hinges on that. It's like, yeah, the good Godzilla design, good Godzilla theme, great fight with Mega Gearus. Mega Gearus is a unique, interesting monster, but it's like, dude, that black hole is so freaking dumb, though. So I don't know, man. Above 98, but I don't. Outside of that,
Below
you can kind
Ebra.
of taster's choice. As long as it's above 98, you can taster's choice if it's better than Ebra or Raids Again. What do you think?
I'm okay with putting it behind Ebra. Ebra is
Okay.
shorter. I mean, I
Okay.
do like the plot line, even though we get Godzilla way later on in Ebra. I'm okay with putting Mega Gearus behind that due to the
Okay.
black hole concept.
Yeah. Okay. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Yeah. I just only wanted it. The only one I would fight for is above 98, just because at least this is like Godzilla. But
So in the Millennium series, we had a banger, we had a misfire, and then we come back with another banger with GMK or
mm,
Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters, All Out Attack. So what are you thinking
hmm
here, Chris?
I think I'm thinking what you might be thinking, which is I'd argue for a King of the Monsters. I think.
Okay, okay. I was
Or
gonna say hi, let them fight,
okay.
but
Yeah,
I'm
or low King of the Monsters. Yeah.
yeah, or low King of the Monsters.
Like for me, I prefer it to Mothra versus Godzilla.
Okay, and I mean with the newer technology and things like that,
Yeah,
a lot
and
of
that's
these
tough.
films have
It's
surpassed.
yeah, yeah, some of this is just the advantages of being made decades and decades later. It just the spectacle is just on a much higher level, and that can't be altered. But I mean, I think it's a King of the Monsters, man. GMK rules.
So maybe right behind Godzilla 2000 here. I'm not opposed to that.
Okay, okay,
We still have Mothra and all them. It doesn't change the fact that they're in King of the Monsters. So
yeah, 100%.
our next film is Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and I do like this one, but again, it's hard for me to put it like above like some of the Heisei films. So I mean, maybe like a low Let Them Fight.
Yeah, I think that's kind of exactly where it belongs. I think we're in agreement there.
I don't know because I
Yeah.
like Astro Monster. I do like Kiryu's or Mechagodzilla's new design. I like Godzilla's design in this, still having like the big spines or spikes on his back. The dorsal plates, whatever you want to call them. There's multiple names
hmm
for them. And I like that he gets that. I like that he continues with like the blue atomic breath in this one. We
hmm
get some good characters. So maybe are you opposed to putting it right behind Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla from '93?
I'm not opposed to that at all.
Okay, thinking right here, right above Ghidorah,
hmm
right behind Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of things about you know, it's played since fine. I'm not here to talk about it, but like, there's a lot of things about it that I think it does better than that Mecha Godzilla, in my opinion.
Hmm. it makes
Why are
for
you trying to push it higher? Or are you trying to push it lower? Because I got this feeling that you were a little sour on it.
no. I actually like Godzilla against Mechagodzilla much more than our next film. So I was trying to
Oh,
make
really?
sure we
Oh,
place it
see.
correctly.
Oh, yeah. See, because I'm a lot. I prefer Tokyo SOS to Godzilla against Mecha Godzilla.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, we'll leave Godzilla against Mechagodzilla
Okay.
right there for now, and
Okay.
I'll let you
Okay.
go ahead and bring us into Tokyo SOS.
Well, I mean, I would have it definitely in the let them fight category. I prefer it to Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. I just love, like, you got Mothra in there, you got, the original Mothra movie kind of being tied strongly into its continuity. The whole, like, final, like, hour of the movie is just this big, like, monster mass showdown that just seems to never end in a good way. Uh I kind of, I just think it's like it's such a good, it's so nice in the Heisei era to like continue a storyline instead of rebooting with every entry. Like I full blown prefer it to Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
And see, this is where we differ on this one big time. I appreciate the connections to like Mothra and the original like Mothra film and bringing back like that character from that film. And I like that we get the same again Godzilla and Kiryu or Mecha Godzilla design. I do like the battle scenes, but when I watch this film, it just drags for me, like constantly
Mhm.
cutting back between the monsters and the humans, and it's almost like a slow burner for me. Like to me, like if this was my list, like to how it is now, like this would be behind Hedra in a happy moment.
Oof.
I don't know
Ugh.
why it's just something about
Okay.
this film that it just drags for me, but I can
All right.
compromise and
Okay.
maybe put it
Okay.
into like a lower let them fight.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Or if you want to top it at a happy moment, I can agree with that. Even though, like, I can roll with that. I think
So which one? Since you're a little higher on this one than me, which would you prefer? A high happy moment, or maybe like a lower, like maybe in front of Terror of Mechagodzilla or Astro
maybe
Monster?
you could even set it at the bottom of let them fight. I'd really like to get it into that let them fight category.
I can compromise and do that.
All right.
I can.
Okay. All right.
So here, I mean, Godzilla Final Wars is a film that I was never high on until recent
And
years. So I mean, it's
before we move on, as I'm kind of seeing the borders here and kind of where things shaking out, you can slide if you're comfortable with it, which I'm pretty sure you'll be, because I'm kind of comfortable with it, seeing how these tiers are shaking out and the colleagues of the different movies in the tiers. If you want to move King Ghidorah 91 into Let Them Fight near the bottom of Let Them Fight, we can do that.
my man is compromising for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
like
letting
it.
you get it into that tier. There we go. That'll work.
That
There you
is,
go.
I am okay with that.
A bit more of a bit more of a compromising kind of like thinking about it overall kind of attitude.
You just can't deny the great
That,
Godzilla and
well,
King
there's plenty.
Ghidorah
Like I said,
designs.
there's plenty of stuff to love in that movie. There's plenty of stuff I do actively love in that movie, just not the time travel. So I mean, I don't want to hold it back too much from a bad concept.
He likes 80% of it, 85% of it. So we'll give it a strong B.
Yeah, if I could totally rewrite the dub track, maybe I could write in dialogue that made me satisfied with the time travel a bit more.
So back to Final Wars. I seen this. I liked this film, and like the more I watched it, the higher I got on it, and I became really high on it when I watched it at G Fest with other Godzilla fans, like quoting along with the film, saying like, "Listen, kid, there's two things you don't know about the Earth. One is
uh-huh.
me, and the other is Godzilla." And then the crowd like cheering and going wild. Like this film is the absolute best time I've had at G Fest watching films with the other fans, and I think I've seen like 8 or 10 films at G Fest with other fans, and this was by far the best, even over Destroya. It was a great time, and I
Yeah.
think even though it's a little bit lower on my personal ranking, I think it's a let them fight style of film.
Yeah, I think it's a let them fight as well. I thought I was about to hear you argue for King of the Monsters and we'd have to come to blows. I think we can do let them fight. It is a goofy over the top movie, but that kind of really is like the identity it's carrying, and it carries it in a more self-aware way than some of these other movies that are kind of on the goofier, weirder side. So I can settle for it being in Let Them Fight.
And I would say kind of maybe a middle of the pack to high let them fight, maybe somewhere around
Yeah, yeah. I
the
agree.
two
I agree with
Mechagodzilla films and
I
Ghidorah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah, maybe not the top three, but I agree with that.
Maybe throw it right behind Ghidra, the three-headed monster.
Yeah, or if you're feeling it, are you feeling a little better than it being above Ghidorah?
I would put it probably above Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, if in my
Okay,
personal
okay,
opinion.
okay. We'll
So
do
maybe split
maybe
the
we'll
hairs.
split the difference. Yeah, put it over Ghidorah. Yeah,
I am
it is a
perfect.
good time. It is a fun time, and like, it's a little, what movies are cheesy that are stupid, and what movies are cheesy that are fun. But I mean, like, Godzilla Final Wars is like a live action anime come to life half the time in a good way, not the bad Godzilla anime. So it's like if we had gotten something like this as an anime when Godzilla finally became an anime, it would have been like the coolest anime ever. It's got like Matrix fight scenes and martial arts and monster action and power ups and all kinds of things you would want from So it's like the soundtrack's awesome. Like it is just like a really good time. It's got some really stupid poison pill stuff in there. The Minya stuff is kind of cringe and awful, but I mean, you get to see Godzilla destroy the 98 Zilla with some 41 playing in the background, and that's pretty cool.
Exactly. You get I
Yep.
mean, like
It's
70% of the monsters
it,
back.
it's some of these movies are legacy tribute movies, and some of these movies are like drunken birthday party movies, and Final Wars is like a drunken birthday party Godzilla movie.
Exactly. It's just a good time. I mean, it's 2 hours long, but
Yeah,
it's a good fun 2 hours. So I'm 100%
yeah,
okay with putting it like pretty much almost in the middle of Let Them Fight.
yeah, yeah. Godzilla versus Destroy is like a beautiful retirement dinner, and Godzilla Final Wars is like a one last night out at the club before
it's a
you
it's a
move.
pizza
You
party
know,
dinner.
yeah, something like that. A rave.
So we're heading back to the American Godzilla films with their second try in the 2014 Godzilla. So let me hear what you think on this one first.
Um, I think it's. I mean, the importance of the franchise when you hear that Toho had almost kind of not necessarily given up on Godzilla, but kind of resigned to the idea that Godzilla would be kind of like this nostalgic niche kind of property that would just slowly fade away and had kind of passed its time. And then this movie comes along and makes Godzilla a global blockbuster and reignites Toho's own, passion and interest in pursuing Godzilla as a franchise. The importance of this movie after a basically decade long hiatus from Final Wars cannot be understated. And sure, the movie has flaws and imperfections, but what it was able to do, which was legitimize Godzilla for a global audience of like, this is something you can do seriously and in a big way that's kind of epic, that's kind of true to what Godzilla is and should be and how he should be presented without feeling completely hokey and silly, kind of what you would have wanted Godzilla 98 to do. And so I think it's important, even if you can kind of nitpick and be like, where's the Godzilla theme? It's a little too dark. We're a little light on Godzilla screen time. Like you can nitpick the movie to death, but like the things it does right, it absolutely did certain things right, and we're sitting on a MonsterVerse franchise because of this. So I think it's a let them fight for sure.
Okay. I have some nitpicks with it, and it's mainly with all the cutting away from the fight scenes and the Godzilla screen time, and just a little bit too much like diving into the characters in this film. But I mean, it is our reintroduction to Godzilla, so they're trying to get us some character intros and like things like that, make us care about the characters that we're following. So I was gonna say maybe like a middle to low Let Them Fight, or top of a happy moment. But like with this bringing the MonsterVerse and like all the films that came after this, with this being the beginning, I'm okay with putting it into Let Them Fight. But I would want to keep it middle to low.
Middle to low is fine. Is I'm good with that. Yeah.
So, and then this is where it gets tricky, is where to put it in middle to low.
Okay. Well, speak your feelings, and we'll kind of figure this out because I'm not very terribly because it's got reasons for being middle to low. It's got those criticisms, it's got those drawbacks. So I'm not like I don't have my heart set on like where in Let Them Fight it belongs. I just think it should be up there.
I was thinking like literally the middle, like maybe like right above Destroy All Monsters or somewhere around there. Godzilla vs Gigan, got
Yeah,
Destroy All
I
Monsters.
I can agree with that. I
So
can agree
maybe
with that.
split the hair, split those two, and put it right in there.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
So this is our next one is one we might differ on as well because I'm depending on how I'm feeling. This film is hit or miss with me. So
Mm.
I'll let you do
Oh
your
man,
bargaining
I
for Shin Godzilla.
dude, I would for me it would be like King of the Monsters without question. Like it would be a King of the Monsters without question. Like I would, what do we got up there? That's GMK, that's Mothra versus Godzilla, that's Godzilla 2000. Like for me, like dude, I love Shin Godzilla so much. Like I if I could even get it at the bottom of King of the Monsters, I would be extremely happy about that.
And I was very high on Shin Godzilla the first couple times I watched it, and then I was so on the next couple watches. Like this film does kind of drag. Like all the Godzilla stuff is phenomenal. The special effects are phenomenal, but we get a little too much of like the cabinet ministers and like all the. And I get they're all trying to come up with a plan for Godzilla, and they're showing like what it would be like in a real life like situation like this. But I think I think I can give you that bottom of King of the Monsters because
Okay.
I
Okay.
was gonna put it in Let Them
Okay.
Fight.
Okay, yeah, I'll take this grace period, and even the very bottom of King of the Monsters, I'll take it. I just think it needs to be up in that tier.
Yeah, and I mean it is a great reintroduction from Toho after the 2014 Godzilla. So I I there's not a lot I can say about Shin Godzilla that's bad. Besides that, there's a little too much characterization in it, and not enough Godzilla. But
Mhm.
what we get of Godzilla brings this film way up. So I'm okay with
And this
bottom
and
of
the
King
and
of the
this and
Monsters.
this and the score, both the featured tracks from previous movies and the new tracks, I think are pretty iconic. I think up to this point, it was the best special effects we'd ever gotten in a Toho Godzilla movie. I think you get like the great sequence in the middle of the movie where it's just like one military trick after the other, the tanks, the choppers, the jets. Like it's just kind of goes really hard in a lot of ways. So I just really got to sing the praises of it a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So with these next couple of films, we're probably gonna go the complete opposite way, and with the first of the Netflix anime trilogy, Godzilla: Planet of the Monsters. What are you?
What are you thinking?
I think this is the best of the three anime films that we got, and I would put it into Oh Godzilla, What Terrible Language.
I could maybe I could live with that. See, I think, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but I think collectively the trilogy should all be in Godzilla said I should learn to fight my own battles.
Hmm.
And I'm willing to defend these movies more than some people. They went for some interesting things, but as a collective unit, this trilogy is one big misfire for me. One big missed opportunity.
See, and I agree with that. It's the first one I had a little fun with, and then the next two were just I it took me probably 3 or 4 watches to get through the Godzilla City on the Edge of Battle and Godzilla the Planet Eater because I
Yeah,
kept falling asleep, so I would have to
because they
restart them.
because they don't have an engaging anime style. They're going for this 3D animation style, which isn't what real anime usually does best. They're going for this really kind of pretentious, kind of Star Trek future plot line, like deep sci-fi plot line. They like got all this philosophy going on and all this nihilism and edge lord stuff going on with the human trauma. So the human stuff is like almost like grueling to get through because it's so like dark and nihilistic and cynical. Then like the monster action isn't very lively and energetic. It's very sort of slow and lumbering. And the musical score and theme for Godzilla is almost the same way in terms of the energy it brings to the table. It's just on paper one of those things that had so much potential, and it feels like at every step of the way they just went with like the most dull way of doing it possible. and I think the whole trilogy is just like tore up from the floor up.
So could we maybe compromise on this one and put the first one at the bottom of Oh Godzilla,
I
What Terrible
I'll
Language, and then the
I'll
next
take
two?
it. I'll take it. I'll take
Okay,
that. I can live with that. Yep.
so throw this
I can live with that.
here, and then City on the Edge of Battle, Behind All Monsters Attack, and then the same with the Planet Eater.
Yeah. I mean, at least All Monsters Attack is only, taking up about 60 minutes of your time, and this anime trilogy is 4.5 hours. It feels like 8.5 hours. And I'm not trying to be, I don't like to like do the whole like there's no redeeming qualities, I only have negative things to say, but man, I wanted these anime movies to be even just good, and they are so hard to try and defend. And they literally, when you do a Godzilla marathon and then you get to the anime trilogy and you're like, it's like, there's at least some fun and joy to be had in watching All Monsters Attack. There is almost no fun to be had with this anime trilogy when you rewatch it.
And it hurts for me because I'm not an anime fan, so going into them, I
Oh, it hurts a lot more because I am an anime fan. Believe me, this is it's so sad to me that anybody would see this and think this is a representation of anime. It's about as good as a representation of anime as it is a good representation of Godzilla. If that can kind of paint it for you. I don't think it's. I think they combined them and made them both worse, and that's really a shame to me as a fan of both.
All right. Well, I don't know too many people who would argue with us on those three. Besides, maybe putting the first chapter down into Godzilla said I should learn to fight my own
Yeah, just
battles.
just for some neatness of having all three down there, but that's I'll let you win on that one.
I think that one's just a pinch above the other two, so that's the only reason I would
Fair
want
enough.
it there.
Fair enough.
So there might be some people that are going to argue with me on this one as well. But 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters until Godzilla minus one came out. That became my favorite Godzilla film with
It's a
the
King of the Monsters. It's a King of the Monsters. How's this up for debate? It's not being debated here, that's for sure.
no, it is a King of the Monsters, and I think the only two I could put it behind are Destroyer and the original, but I would vouch to put it above both of them if we were both okay with it. But I'm okay with it being behind those two as well.
I think behind them is where I was thinking as well. I think
Okay.
yes. I mean, I for me again, all shapes and sizes of Godzilla fans, all ages, all eras. A lot of different Godzilla fans want and enjoy a lot of different things about the character. But for me, this was like that. Hey, here's that Godzilla movie you kind of like always would dream to get as an American Godzilla blockbuster. It's going to make all the references and check all the boxes and deliver all the cool visuals and all the epic battles and do all the fun things with the plot and every neat thing that you could think of. And like the worst thing you can say about it is maybe it has a few too many supporting human characters, like a bit too much of an ensemble cast. A few too many people going on when some of them could have been folded into each other. If that's the worst thing you can say about it, like I love freaking Kyle Chandler and oh gosh, Emma Russell who plays her. Her name is slipping, but like and Millie Bobby Brown playing the daughter. Like I'm a huge fan. Ken Watanabe's great in this. Like I love the cast. I love so much about this. Bear McCreary's score. Like I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but yeah, this movie totally deserves to be up there. For me, it does 100%.
Absolutely. And like I said, that this is one of the films that's in my top 3 Godzilla films. I know some fans are gonna disagree with me and say it's too long or there's too much fan service in it or things
Oh,
like that.
bull
But
crap. No,
exactly.
no,
That's
no,
what we
no.
love. So
Yeah,
I 100% agree with everything you've said, and that it'll always be in King of the Monsters for me.
100%. I mean, the name is appropriate.
Exactly. So with our next film, a sequel to that one, Godzilla versus Kong. I know you are very high on this one. I am very
Yeah,
high on this one. So are we
yeah. I
thinking,
I argue low King of the Monsters for it at least.
okay, I was wondering, are we going to put
Yeah,
another one up there? So
yeah. I think, dude. I saw full disclosure when lockdowns were going on and theaters' futures were uncertain. And of course I worked at a theater, so I could see movies for free. But I saw this movie 10 times in theaters because I wanted I didn't know if movie theaters were ever going to be around for the long haul, and I was like, I want a movie I truly love to be the movie that I have the record seeing in theaters. And an even 10 was nice. Saw this movie 10 times in theaters. Loved this thing start to finish. Taking my younger brother to it on opening night was hands down one of the best theater experiences I ever had, beginning to end. The crowd was perfect. It was just like it gave me everything I wanted in terms of what this movie is, and so yeah, for me, it will always be a King of the Monsters, and no one can take it away.
I was gonna say either King of the Monsters or very top of Let Them Fight. So if we do put it in King of the Monsters, where are we thinking for Godzilla versus Kong? Because I love the portrayal of Kong. I love the fight scenes, the battles. I love that we get Mecha Godzilla back in this film, and so I would almost like bargain with you to put it like right behind Biolante.
I'm okay with that placement. Yeah, I'm good with that placement. I would even right behind her, either maybe even right before, just in terms of what this gives us for, every Godzilla movie has a little bit of a different mission statement. And I think this one being called Godzilla versus Kong, I think it freaking hit it out of the park with its mission statement.
All right, so I will put that right above Biolante and right behind King of the Monsters.
Yeah. Oh, the people are going to hate us for this. People, that's a hot take. I think that's a hot take. But you know what? We're sincere.
That movie's an hour and 50 minutes of just awesome. So I mean, it
Yeah, I
like you say, it's
freaking
pure
love
cinema.
it. Yeah. Yeah, absolute cinema. Yeah.
So this one is a no-brainer as well. Godzilla minus one is an absolute king of the monsters, and I
Mm-hmm.
think this is the only film that I would put above the original and Destroya like
Yes,
100%.
I'm in agreement. Put it at the freaking top, dude. We all know it. We all know it. On a top 10 list, it rates a -1. It goes even beyond the top.
Well, that film and Godzilla King of the Monsters are the ones I go back and forth between for my favorite Godzilla film of all time. And the more I watch minus one, the more it creeps up and is slowly beginning to pass Godzilla King of the Monsters for my favorite of the
Yeah,
Godzilla
it's
film.
it well, and it's one of those things where, and this is no fault of King of the Monsters, but it's a sequel and it's part of a larger franchise. Godzilla -1 is a standalone masterpiece that anyone can watch, fan, and it's one of those things where some Godzilla movies appeal more to non-fans, some Godzilla movies appeal exclusively to fans. -1 is one of those movies that if you're a diehard fan and a normie casual, you can both come away thinking like this movie's incredible. It was like it's for Godzilla movies what like the Dark Knight was for Batman movies. Like people that love Batman love the Dark Knight, and people that are like Batman's goofy and silly and I don't like it also love the Dark Knight. And -1 I think is very much that for Godzilla.
All right, so we have one more film to go with, and it's Godzilla Kong: The New Empire. So what? I had a lot of fun with this film. I
I
think the
did too.
first time I watched it, it was kind of hit or miss for me. But the more I watch it, this is another one that the more I like it, the more I like the change in design of Godzilla, the portrayal of Kong. We get Mothra back, which she's always been one of my favorite in the Godzilla franchise. I do like the new monsters that we get with Shimu and Scar King, or Shimo and Scar King, sorry, but it's just it's not quite King of the Monsters for me. I would be comfortable putting it in Let Them Fight.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. It's not a King of the Monsters. It's not a King of the Monsters.
No, you can't have Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs Kong, and then this one. I think this one is a little too much cheesy fun. So I would be comfortable. This one's tough for Let Them Fight,
Yeah.
because I do have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of fun with it and getting Mothra back and the whole
And like for me
storyline.
personally, yeah, and like for me personally, like I would take this sort of style of MonsterVerse movie over G14, for example. But I know that might be considered a little bit of a hot take, and that's putting it above a number of other movies in that Let Them Fight category that you might not be comfortable putting this one over.
I was honestly gonna put this a little bit even higher towards the top of Let Them Fight for just how
Oh,
much
okay.
fun it
Well,
is.
so you're a little more so okay then above or below something like Final Wars.
I think I have more fun with it than Final Wars, but I think
I agree. I agree. I agree.
this is a tough one. This is one I didn't think
Yeah.
would be that tough until I was like, I seen where our list was.
Yeah.
I would almost put it I would almost put it at the top of Let Them Fight with the Godzilla design that we get and him and Kong. And the only thing that the thing is, like, I think Scar King is a weak portrayal of a villain and
Yeah.
things like that. So that
And
knocks
I
it
mean,
down.
and it's tough because there's a lot of things about it that I prefer to like the original King Kong versus Godzilla. There's a lot of things I prefer about it to that. Maybe even King Kong versus Godzilla. Maybe that's not. Maybe that one's a little too high up on Let Them Fight. I don't know. We can kind of we can do like a fun little like last look reevaluation kind of a thing. But I think it belongs in Let Them Fight, and I'm not against having it in the upper levels of it.
So here, we'll put this for now before we reevaluate. We'll put it right behind Mechagodzilla
Okay.
74.
Okay. Okay.
So this is
So
our list as of now.
all right.
And then
So now maybe what we do is we go through we do a quick audit of each tier and see if we're kind of happy with where stuff's landed, or if some stuff is borderline and needs to be brought up, or borderline needs to be brought down, or borderline shifted around a little bit.
all right, so we'll start at King of the Monsters and -1.
Or
That's
do you want to
not
start at the bottom and work our way up to be more fun?
we
Would that
can
be more fun?
we can do that. That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. All right.
Alrighty. Yeah. So Godzilla said I should fight my own battles. Maybe the third one a little better than the second one. I think the second one's the worst.
I could agree with you there. So I'll pop that one up, and then I
Okay.
think that is pretty good for our bottom
Yeah.
tier.
Yeah. I think those bottom three are good.
And then for Oh Godzilla, What Terrible Language, I think I think I'm comfortable with it. What are you leaning towards?
Yeah. I think maybe Megalon deserves to be down there. When I look at the other films with Megalon in that happy moment, Hedorah, Return of Godzilla, Son of Godzilla, Space Godzilla, they're kind of all like they've got these they're kind of like solid, but then just have some things holding them back. And I think Megalon is kind of really it's more in that like wonkier zone of like just being a little too silly, a little too goofy, like how Ebera and Mega Gears have like the black hole and just stuff like that. I would argue that Megalon is the next rung down.
Okay, and I'm okay doing that. And if I do that, I was thinking about this. Then I think I agree with you. And the last the start to the Netflix anime trilogy, I think that goes to our bottom
Okay,
tier because
alrighty,
I don't have near as fun with that one as I do Megalon
yeah,
or any of the
I
other
agree.
ones in.
Hey, I was with the whole anime trilogy being down there. So
All right, so I think we our bottom two tiers. I think we are locked in. A happy moment. I think we're none of those go up or down. They stay right there.
mhm.
So we go to
Are
let
you
them
good with
fight.
the organization of them? Because that's the only thing worth debating. I think it's
I
fine.
think I am. So we go to let them fight, and I I I mean, there's things I would want to move around. Clearly, like I would
Well,
want King Ghidorah a little higher, but
we
I
can talk about that. We can take it one step at a time. Like we'll go backwards up. Like where do you think King Ghidorah should be?
I would. King Ghidorah is one of my personal favorites of the Godzilla franchise. I would say higher tier let them fight, maybe right behind like King Kong versus Godzilla, but I mean that's passing up a lot of these let them fight. So I
All
mean
right.
it's a compromise, so
Would
it's not.
would you be okay putting it? How about just before Final Wars?
I would be okay with that.
Okay.
I would throw that just before, so right behind against Mechagodzilla.
Or maybe just after.
I'm okay with either or.
Okay. Well, why don't we do? Okay. Well, I'll let you have you just before. Okay. Tokyo SOS. Oh man, I'd want that to be a little higher.
Chris has got you. That's your soft spot for my King
Yeah,
Ghidorah.
we're gonna reorganize this thing, and we're just gonna slowly put everything back in the order it was anyway. We're gonna move Ghidorah up, then Tokyo SOS up, and slowly. Uh, no, I know you really want. I know you lobby for Astro Monster being up, so me arguing to put it above Astro Monster, that's a moot point. Okay, it's fine. Terror of Mechagodzilla, I'm okay with that. I know you've got like your thing for Astro Monster, and then that's is that which one is that one there? Is that Destroy All Monsters?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with that there. G14. Yeah, I'm pretty much like, yeah, I'm kind of comfortable with this, like Final Wars lets you have your Ghidorah up there. Yeah, I mean, yeah, nothing's jumping out at me as like, oh, I would really change this or shimmy this up much.
No, and then for King of the Monsters, we pretty much have those. I think where we want those set, unless you're
Yeah, I
seeing
think
something
so. I mean,
different.
I'm kind of like I would have Shin over Mothra versus Godzilla for me personally, but I don't need that. Uh, and then that's what GMK, Godzilla 2000, Biollante, uh, GVK, King. Yeah, I think that's agreeable. I think that's agreeable.
So I think what we have here for our compromised like combined tier list,
Mm.
this is pretty money for the both of us.
I think so. I think so. Yep. Little nuances aside, I think so.
All right, awesome. So I think that is how we will leave it, and that is
We've we got a whole lot in that let them fight category. That, maybe we should have had six, but that's okay.
hey, that we loaded it up because I mean
There are a lot of like those perfect ones need that upper tier, and then there's a lot of ones that are like very very good. They're just not perfect. They've got that like one kind of flaw or one thing that holds them back or two things that hold them back.
exactly minor little things that fans complain about or make a comment about or something like that, like
Yeah,
something in the special effects, or you didn't like this one character or a
yeah,
decision a character made.
yeah. Minor things like the entire space time continuum not making sense.
That's it. Drop Godzilla versus King Ghidorah all the way down to what terrible language.
It's a happy moment.
Okay, okay.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
No, but I think we did it. So I mean, this is our Godzilla Day, November 3rd, 2025.
Yeah,
Godzilla combined chills and thrills podcast tier list ranking for all
yeah.
38 Godzilla films.
And I'm sure there would be a lot of fun to be had. Because we've talked before. Even when we did our rankings, we kind of said like on any given Sunday, some of these rankings can change. I think it would be fun, maybe for viewers, to compare and contrast how our individual rankings were versus how we kind of compromise on the tier lists and because there's a lot of angles by which you can talk about these Godzilla movies. They're separated by decades, they're separated by languages, they're separated by all kinds of tones and styles. So there's a lot of different ways you can sort of pull these together and push them apart and kind of mix and match them and talk about the nuance of what's better, what's worse, what's a tier up, what's a tier down, what aspects do you value more? Is it more important to be serious? Is it more important to be fun? Is it more important to be more action packed or have a better human story? It's a great conversation to have, and you can attack this conversation from so many different angles to kind of get really good discussions. And I think we had some really good discussions.
Absolutely. So I mean, before we get out of here, I'll thank you for joining me on this one, and I'll tell anyone out there, like, give us your, make your own tier list of these 38 films, as so many other fans have done, or if you have made one, drop it below in the comments or on our Facebook page or something. Let us know where you put all these films, or even if you want to use our exact tier list that we have right here, put the films where you want them, and then let us see what you think compared to our combined ranking of the films. I think that would be fun.
100%.
So this is our 100th episode. Again, it was we started with Godzilla. We wanted our 100th episode to be something about Godzilla. So maybe next year on Godzilla Day we rank all of the monsters or something, or top 10 battles or something. We we do something a little crazy again for Godzilla Day on what will be probably close to our 150 160th episode by then.
Indeed.
So before we get out of here again, I'll say thank you, of course, for joining me. Thank everyone who's out there listening and watched us with this tier list. And then we will continue the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise on our next episode. But until next time.
Have a good one, everybody.